do I have a secret for you? Did you know that 1/4, 25% of our words in the English language come from Greece, specifically ancient Greece? And a lot of them are about their gods and goddesses, and they've named different things, different sayings, right out of their mythologies. Can you imagine that? Things like an Achilles heel. What's that? It's a weakness, yeah, and heel, but it's a weakness that one of the gods had where if he got hit in this spot, that little spot on his heel, then he would be vulnerable. It's a place that we can be vulnerable. Or how about the names of the planets? Yeah, the planets were named like the Sun, Sol, Apollo, Moon, Luna, Mercury, Hermes, Venus, Aphrodite, Mars, Ares, Jupiter, Dias, Saturn, Cronus, Uranus, Neptune, Poseidon, Pluto, Hades. They took their Greek gods and the Romans just gave them another name. How weird. But anyway, as we look through, there's other things, like Zeus or Mount Olympus were named after Greek gods. Or, as we go on, there's sayings in Greeks. Okay, let's go over some of these sayings. See if you know what I mean. One of them was, beware of Greeks carrying gifts. What does that mean? It means somebody that's giving you a gift might have an ulterior motive of giving it to you. They're not just giving it out of the goodness of their heart. Or it is so chaotic. This is chaos. Chaos was extreme confusion in the realm of the gods. Or how about dogs are man's best friend? You'd think that would come from us, but it doesn't. It comes from the Odyssey, where Homer went home and he found that his dog was his best friend in the Odyssey. Also, maybe the face that launched 1,000 ships. What could that mean? A face that launches 1,000 ships? Do you remember our love story of Helen of Troy? How the two different cities, the two different areas, the Trojan city of Troy, and then also the Spartan city, they end up getting into this big, huge, gigantic war for this beautiful woman. Her name was Helen, and her face launched 1,000 ships. They went to war for a love story. Or maybe Fury or Fate. The Furies, they were the avengers that would go out and ferociously avenge somebody that had been done wrong. Or maybe Fate. Fate were 3 spinsters that wove all these threads, and they wove threads for our lives so that we'd be woven in. That meant that it was going to happen in our life no matter what. Or how about the Titans? Who are the Titans? They were giants in the mythological culture or mythology. How about he cut the Gordian knot? What's that mean? What's a Gordian knot? A Gordian knot was a complex knot that was set there, and the person that untied this knot could be the king of and the lord of the whole world. Well, who cut it? You're supposed to untie it. But Alexander the Great was said to come in and take his sword and just cut the Gordian knot in two. That his power even could cut the Gordian knot. Or maybe Medusa. Who's Medusa? A very severely ugly woman. Or phobias. What are phobias? Fears. Phobia's in there. Phobia was the son of Ares, and he represented fear. Or we open the Pandora's box. What kind of box is that? It meant to introduce yourself to trouble. When you open the Pandora's box, all these terrible things came out. It was a box you would not want to open. Or a nemesis was something that was an adversary or something, fear to stay away from. The nemesis you would always want to stay away from. That came from Greece too. How about the Midas touch? There was a king named King Midas, and everything he touched turned to gold. And some people might have a Midas touch that everything they do turns to money or to gold. The thing that's sad about that is that Midas couldn't even touch anyone. He couldn't touch his wife or his children, or they'd turn to gold too. So it's actually a sad thing. Or how about a labyrinth? We talked about labyrinth. It was an elaborate maze. In fact, in the labyrinth, they had the Minotaur that was this bull that would chase them around. Kind of like a video game, huh? Came from Greece. How about leave no stone unturned? That's another Greek saying. A lot of words come, too, from Greece that we just say, like, don't harp at me. That was another touch of mythology. These harpers, these like weird creatures would wah, 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 and they were very irritating. Or how about Atlas? He was like holding up the earth, the map of the earth. Or things like fortune or echoes. Hypothesis is a guess. Or music came from the muses. The muses were actually these little elf-like creatures, and they would give you power to sing or to learn or to write books, depending on what their muse was, huh? Or narcissism was actually this guy that was all into himself in the Greek mythology. Or psychology, or typhoons, or acrobats, or a cemetery. Democracy, yes, Greece was into democracy. Or even names of things like Europe. Europe was considered this mythological princess that Zeus loved. Or galaxy was someplace that Hercules went. Or let's go on to marathon. Have you heard the word marathon? Well, marathon was this, actually this did happen. They had this huge war, and it was from Marathon, it was against actually Persia, and it was that they were in the town of Marathon, and Philippides had to run all the way to Athens, which is almost 26 miles, to tell them the good news that they won the war. And he ran as fast as he could. When he got there, he was so excited, but he fainted and passed out and actually ended up dying. So it wasn't that good of a story. But we want to run a marathon means a long, long race, huh? How about melancholy? That's another sad. Melancholy tunes would be sad tunes. Or as we go on, words like logos. The logos would be knowledge. And even in the Bible, it talks about logos as being knowledge. Or even parts of the atom, like the neuron and proton and all those Greek words. Can you believe that? Or how about the word telephone? Let's take that word. Tele means far off, and phone means sound. So telephone would be far off sound. Wow. Can you believe that? We could go on for a long time because there are a lot of words. So when we say, oh, that's Greek to me, maybe it's not really Greek to us because we think it's English when it's really Greek. So, it's really important to study Greece. But then again, the Bible was written in Greek before it was written in English. A lot of Greek people came to know Jesus in the first century. And amazing when Jesus was born. In fact, when he was crucified, they said, these guys are coming from Greece to meet you, Jesus, before he was crucified. Yeah, the Greeks get a lot of things from ancient Greece. So let's go on. We're going to be studying Athens next, which really was one of the largest cities in Greece. And Athens definitely had the golden touch, the golden ages of Athens. We'll study that in our next lesson, lesson 33. I wanted to tell you about, go over, I don't really believe in Greek gods and all these things, but some of the words and some of our culture words come from them. So, but the thing is, they had so many gods that they made up a god to the unknown God. Because they said, there's got to be some God we forgot about. And Paul in the Bible went to Mars Hill. Mars, another Greek god, went to Mars Hill, and all these people came. All these Athenians, all these Greek people came, and he shared the gospel. And he said, "Look it, I see you have all these different gods. Then you have this one. It says, to the unknown God. I'm telling you, I'm going to make known the real, true, and living God right now. The creator of the universe, the one you need to know." Isn't that cool? He shared the gospel. They had all these gods that were not real, just idols. And they had one place left that they thought there must be another God that's real. But this God, he superseded anything, all the idols of the world, the true and living God, Jesus.